Yes, everyone. Unfortunately, I cannot speak in Greek, so you'll have to bear with my English. Very honored to be here. And I would like to pursue this journey into the circular economy after the bottle example that you demonstrated, and to jump into the beautiful word of the palette. So before we do this, I just would like to remind the definition of circular economy. Circular economy is a system in which products and materials never make it to waste, and where we regenerate nature. There are three foundational undissociable principles. One, eliminate waste and pollution. Second, keep products and materials in use over and over and over at the highest value. And third, regenerate nature. I thought that was super important to raise because that would explain the rest. So who we are. CHEP is a Brambles company. We are listed in Sydney, in Australia, at the stock exchange. And for now 70 years, we've been operating the largest B2B share and reuse model in the world in 60 countries. We've got 1/3 of a billion equipment in circulation that we are collecting from 500,000 users around the world. And we've been doing this since 70 years, being pioneers in injecting circular economy into the supply chains in which we operate, which are namely fast-moving goods, but also the automotive industry. So how does the system work? It's pretty much as been described in the bottle system. We are making pallets available to manufacturers or packaging, and then it goes to the end of the supply chain up until the point of sale, where we collect the equipment, we refurbish it, we put it at the right place so that it can be rented again. When we look at the system today, the benefits are per year 1.9 million waste of tons eliminated, 3 million trees saved, 1.9 million tons of CO2 emissions saved. So this virtuous system can have big impact when it's really brought in a mature and scalable way. The performance of the CHEP and Brambles model has been praised several times. We're ranked #1 in the Dow Jones Sustainability Index category. We are MSCI AAA, CDP listed, and we've been named one of the 10th most sustainable company globally. So yes, we're born circular. We discovered this at the end of the year 2010, but we followed the journey. So in 2010, we started building our sustainability strategy around the very classical, I would say, and bulletproof principles of people, planet, profit. And this gave us this triptych that we've been animating and making through in 5-year roadmaps. So in 2015, we've launched our Race to Zero Impact. And this 2015 Race to Zero Impact gave us strong foundations to really be ready to go with our next big hit, which is being net positive. So in 2020, what we've reached is 100% sourced timber. We've reached a 33% CO2 emissions in our supply chain. We managed to do an evaluation of our scope 3 ahead of the game. And we also started to put, all the work in motion around working with food banks, because 1/3 of the food waste happens in supply chain. So we kind of feel that we can contribute to this, and also put our plan in motions around communities. In 2020, we've launched this net positive strategy. And the angular principle around it is to say, yes, we can go beyond on our 3 pillars, but we want to go for a net zero because that's where we believe we can have a regenerative impact. So net zero implies science-based targets that we've signed for net zero for 2040. It implies that we're going to do a net positive impact before this 2040, with scope 1 and 2 reduction by 37% and a scope 3 reduction by 17% in 2030. But 2050, 2025 is our big goal. So by 2025, we want to make a breakthrough into really the circular supplies. And we want to materially, because it makes sense to us, we want to go into the regenerative aspect. So we're going to grow responsibly 2 trees for every one that we cut. We're going to decrease we're going to get for carbon neutral operations, and we're going to include 30% of upcycled content into our plastic platforms. So how we've done this? We've done this with applying, I don't know if you remember the big hit book by Peter Lacey called Waste to Wealth. And he designed 5 directional circular strategies. And the first one is obvious, is where it starts, is circular supplies. So we started by really focusing on timber, because this is 80% of what our transport packaging are made of. And this is really where we put the emphasis on. And this is why it makes sense as well to go for regeneration from an impact perspective. So this took us 15 years to get where we are, 100% chain of custody, responsible, and then now going for regeneration. The second directional strategy is product as a service. And I know for most of businesses, we're born like this. This is what we do for a living. We're renting our pallets in a service. So, but looking into this angle is really fascinating, because you can, it's really a big shift, but you can take some parts of your products, you can take some materials at some stage of the product life, where really you can make a different business model into it, and that could have value that can be captured for more people, especially in the upcycling area. So the third point was really the product life extension. So the first thing we did in 2010 was launching life cycle analysis on our top products, and that told us a lot. That told us a lot where we could extend the product life, which we're very proud to say that we are 10 years now for our B12 weight standard pallets that you can find everywhere. And this is not the end. We want to go further as long as industry standards would let us go. So plastic, we have more room for maneuvering, For wood, it's still a bit more stringent, but let's see if we can break a bit the standards. The third one is recovery. And I really like the case of the bottle with the deposit. Recovery is key. If you can't get any of your materials back, there's nothing you can do in a circular. You can't even trade for material components. You cannot even do your own upcycling. And you need necessarily to go through the recycling case, which is not the most optimum way, as we would all like to think. So recovery is what we do for a living. We never recover enough. We always have a target of recovering 100, if that is even possible. So this is a relentless race. One thing that has been really helping us, for those who know, is the Ellen MacArthur Foundation has designed this butterfly diagram. And if you manage to design your own butterfly diagram and understand how many products you put in the supply chain and how many you can get back and when, this is giving you room for improvement for a lifetime almost. But this is really the best way ever to do it and to ensure recovery. And the last one is sharing platforms. And this is where collaboration comes. There's so much things we can do within our own organizations, but there's so much more that you can do when you collaborate with each other. And this is where you can decouple the effect of your recovery, of your upcycling, of your regeneration. If we find some partners in our wide ecosystem, which is not the ones that we used to know, which is just our suppliers, our customers, this is much beyond this, and you need to include collectivities and countries and communities as well. So if I look at what is our next big game, which is really regeneration. So like I was telling you, it was obvious for us with the double materiality of our activity is timber. Timber is the #1 place for us to start. Plastic is next, water is next. But timber, we started really having a problem in certain areas in this world when we wanted to go with a 100% chain of custody for our timber. And in South Africa, in Latin America, not all the wood is certified. You can't find this. So we had first this need, because it was an aberration. We had to to buy timber and to make it travel, which is not what we want. We all need to decarbonize. We all need to reduce our footprint. So we wanted to get forest responsibly raised, and we did this in South Africa with a partner in Zambia that helped us to now have and be the owner of 18 timber farm for 13,500 acres that we own and that we manage with their help to be FSC chain of custody certified. So this is really where we started doing. These were existing forests. They were not optimum, they were not working well, and there was nothing designed around communities. So this is the first thing, is regeneration is, yes, decoupling what you can get, planting more trees, but it's also doing some good around the community, and these forests were sick, and they were threatened. So that's the first thing we did. And the second one we did, which I think is probably the most advanced where we are today, is really the one that we have in Latin America. So here we decided to go in reforestation in areas where there was nothing. It was just for cattle, for intensive agriculture that obviously didn't work with climate warming. So here, what we've done is we've been partnering with collectivities, customers, local collectivities, and associations to plant trees there, to get them under FSC, to get them protected, and to get some jobs around in the community. So this is the first test we have. I have a video if you wanted to see it, but this is really what we're going to do, and we have now a commitment by 2025 to multiply by 10 what we're going to do with this forest. Time-wise, can we show the video?
At Brambles, we have a sustainability vision. We want to create a regenerative supply chain. A supply chain that has a positive impact in the societies, in the communities, and in the environments where it operates.
Tabasco is one of our flagship projects. The reason to bring our activity to Tabasco is based in the fact that we have in Mexico probably one of our largest markets. So Tabasco gave us the opportunity to bring our product close to the market, the opportunity to reduce our carbon footprint and reduce cost.
Here in Tabasco, we have found the perfect partners for that. Landowners, society, communities, the government, the NGOs, so all together, we are trying to make this vision a reality.
This project has been designed from scratch to comply with all the standards of sustainability that we have in Brambles, probably the most demanding in the world. It's also the social principles and social impact and the governance.
¿Por qué se armonizó este proyecto? Primero que nada, poniendo las partes que tenían que ser. CHEP tiene una visión de un negocio enorme que se necesita para convertir bosques. Está comprometido a hacerlo bien. Y nos pusimos condiciones, como por ejemplo que la gente, los propios dueños de la tierra, no sacarlos de aquí como pasó en el norte del país, sino que se integraran aquí. Y lo que hicimos fue juntar pedazos de los mejores. Tenemos que desarrollar el material genético y después encontrar a un socio como Protic que puede ayudarnos a preparar la tierra. Y eso sumado todo a un ambiente social.
Es un proyecto muy interesante porque se logró sumar el esfuerzo de la empresa privada, el sector gubernamental y el sector científico. Por primera vez, todos en conjunto estamos alineados a generar material genético que finalmente detone e incremente la sustentabilidad de las plantaciones forestales comerciales en el sureste mexicano. Generamos empleos de nivel académico alto, como capacitaciones, o recibimos tesistas, postdoctorantes, maestrías de licenciatura, que finalmente forman parte del equipo, pero también tenemos una generación de empleos relacionadas con la operación cotidiana, desde jornales hasta supervisores de área, supervisores de rancho. Todos nuestros procesos están cumpliendo con todos los ítems de responsabilidad social, ambiental y, por supuesto, rentabilidad.
Este rancho más o menos pertenece a la familia desde 1940 aproximadamente. Los orígenes de él fueron de madera y como a los años 60 fue que empezó a haber la reconversión de la tierra hacia la ganadería y bueno, quisimos volver a lo que el rancho fue, que fue forestal. Entonces pues estamos muy contentos con este proyecto. Una de las cosas importantes de los desarrollos forestales es que sí genera una derrama económica en la zona, hay empleo y genera arraigo en la gente.
Selvas en Tabasco solo le queda el 1% de selva. fue una deforestación. Tabasco es el ejemplo de cómo destruir el paraíso. Puede ser también el ejemplo de cómo regresar al paraíso, pero es un paso grande a un equilibrio con el medio ambiente, con el componente arbóreo para la restauración forestal y de los recursos naturales en general.
In 2020, in CHEP and Brambles, we launched our regenerative vision. And at the time, we didn't know whether this was going to be possible. Today, here in Tabasco, we have demonstrated that it is possible. And for me, this is just the first step in an exciting journey to build the regenerative supply chain the world needs.
Thank you very much.